consulting, training, and solutions. With these words, I request Mr. Vinod Senthil to take over the session, please. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, one and all, being present in the webinar today. It really means a lot that you all have come joined this program for understanding a little more about how Microsoft ecosystem can be made a little better. So before I get started, can you all please confirm if my voice is audible for you all? If yes, can you please use the chat option available, so you can drop in a message on the chat option. I can respond back on the chat as well. Can you all please drop in a quick message on the chat option? I see a few messages, one from Deepan, one from Suresh. Excellent. All right. That's wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started with a quick introduction, right? It's almost 11 o'clock, 11:10 now. So keeping in mind the sensitivity and the value of time for each of the participant available here, I will keep my session as precise as possible and as interactive as possible. So what the format of the program will be. Okay, I'll go closer to the mic. Okay, is it any better? Yeah, is it any better, Sunil? Excellent, thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get started with a quick introduction, right? And let us also talk about the Microsoft ecosystem in general, a little about the past of what has happened with Microsoft, and we will also talk till the latest issues that we have been facing as both enterprise user and a consumer. And let us also talk a few points on items where we have been suffering as an end user consuming Microsoft products. And I'll also simultaneously talk on items which is more of being a boon and the bane for using Microsoft and Microsoft related products, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly share my screen. Please do confirm if it is visible to all of you. Can you all please confirm? Can you all please confirm my screen is visible? Excellent. Okay, got it. So, good morning, one and all. Once again, my name is Vinod Senthil, popularly known as an ethical hacker in this domain on cybersecurity. I have been into cybersecurity for close to last 20 years, and cybersecurity has not just been my profession, but been my passion as well. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to bring my experience to you all, where I will share my experiences about using Microsoft products both as an end user and as a enterprise customer. And I also have seen multiple case studies where my end user, my customer who's the enterprise user has been, I have had chances to work closely with them, and I do have first hand feedback about multiple products of Microsoft, and how it has helped them improve their business, and how at times has scared them doing a business itself, right? So a quick introduction about me. My name is Vinod Senthil. Uh, as you already know, I'm the founder of DigiAlert. DigiAlert is a pure play cybersecurity consulting organization. And about me, I have done close to 450 plus presentations by far. And I have close to around 2 million views overall in YouTube across multiple channels. I have had opportunity to train more than 60,000 people in person. Uh, you can see rest of the other things. So yeah, I'm author for close to 13 cybersecurity courses, which includes web application security testing, mobile application, both Android and iOS pen testing, then IoT specific, SCADA specific, and so on, right? So I'm not just been an infrastructure person, but also application person as well, right? So let me quickly cover the awards that I have. I've been fortunate to hold India Book of Record, Asia Book of Record, Limca Book of Record, World Assist Record, uh, and few more. I have close to 13 world records for conducting the world's largest information security hackathon. What does it mean when I say hackathon? Hackathon simply means I make a vulnerable server, host it on the cloud, and on that way I'll give you access to the vulnerable server and make you hack the server, right? What is the objective of me putting a vulnerable server and making you hack? We just do that because I personally believe the best way or the only way to improve defense in an organization is understand offense, right? Only when you know how an attack happens, you will know how an attacker can be prevented, right? That is my mantra, and that's exactly what I follow, and that is also my day-to-day profession as well, right? So yeah, I'm also known for uh, doing some bug bounty programs, and been fortunate to be the founder of multiple 0 days, right? I mean, I have been extensively working on content management systems at some point, or majorly open source related ones. So these are quite a few of the 0 days that I have happened to identify on multiple content management systems. So quick question, are you all able to follow till this? Any questions till here? Is it uh, audible? Can we all please use the chat option and please drop in the chat? Excellent, wonderful. Okay, so little more about me. There's a story, but I'm just going to avoid this for the benefit of the time we have. But before we get started, I'm going to talk a little about some history, right? But before I get started with the history, let me ask you this. How many of you here use Microsoft or Microsoft related products? Please drop in a comment on this section, please. And just type in M. Please type in the alphabet M in case you are someone who uses Microsoft products or you use Microsoft.com itself. Wonderful. Thank you, Deepan. Yeah. So I see Mr. Rajan has in some question. Okay, wonderful. I see Jay replying on the chat. Good. So what I'm going to do is, let me further show you some history, right? So when I'm saying history, what I'm going to do is, next 15 minutes or so, right, I am just going to share some screenshots from popular news articles and blogging sites, right? The reason is I just don't want to claim that Microsoft has got hacked or compromised in the past, but I'm just going to bring in some evidences and tell you these are all things that have happened with Microsoft in the past, right? So for the benefit of time and thing, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull in only for the last 3 years of records, 3 to 4 years of records. Wow. Please pay attention to this. It says Microsoft warns of a new security flaw affecting Microsoft Surface Pro 3 devices. Okay, before I go ahead with this, I want you to see the date and time of this particular post. Right? Is it visible here? Is it visible here? It says my October 2021. Yes or no? Right? Okay, good. So Microsoft has published a new advisory warning of a security bypass vulnerability affecting Surface Pro's convertible laptops. It could be exploited by an adversary as a hacker, to introduce malicious devices within an enterprise network and defeat the device attestation mechanism. Right. So what I want you to understand is Microsoft in 2021 has given a warning saying Microsoft Surface Pro has been vulnerable to certain kind of a remote code execution attacks. Number one, right? Okay, this is 2021. Let's go to the next slide. Please see this. They say new unpatched Microsoft Exchange. Okay, most of us at some point have been using Exchange, Microsoft Exchange for internal email, right? Instead of using Office 365 or Google ecosystem for emails, at some point in time we were heavily relying on Microsoft Exchange, where we will host the SMTP servers for sending out emails, IMAP for receiving and sending emails within the organization, which has multiple branches across, right? So what happens? A new unpatched Microsoft Exchange 0 day under active exploitation. See, this is not something that is happening new, right? This is not something that's happening new, and this is something that is happening very often. I don't know if you have heard of this. How many of you here are IT administrators? Can you please drop in a message on the comment section? How many of you are IT administrators or network admin, or you are in charge of your organization's IT? Can you drop in the comment on the section? How many of you are aware of a popular terminology called Microsoft Patch Tuesday? How many of you are aware of Microsoft's Patch Tuesday? Any idea what is Microsoft Patch Tuesday? Microsoft's Patch Tuesday simply means, right? See, before we get started with that, I quickly want to address something. What is a patch? What is a upgrade? Right? Patches are also called updates, right? So we are going to talk about two things: update or patches, okay, or also called hot fixes. On the contradictory, we are also going to talk about upgrades. Upgrade means you have a version 1 to version 1.1 or 1.2, right? So you have new features added. That's called an upgrade, right? What is an update? Update simply means you are trying to patch a existing bug that is identified on the network or on the system, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to patch a vulnerability. Now there's a critical thing that we have to understand here. Number one, if there is a vulnerability and you patch it, right, what happens? Microsoft started releasing. See, Microsoft is a huge organization, and close to 2/3 of the world uses Microsoft products, right? Especially Windows operating system. So the bugs that get reported on Microsoft or related product are very high, because it's not just the employees working inside Microsoft identifying bugs and reporting, but also very huge community outside who is using Microsoft products report the bugs to the Microsoft, right? So what happens? Microsoft starts to receive multiple inputs regarding the bugs, right? So they get bugs which are critical in nature, high level in nature, medium, low, and information level in nature, right? But what Microsoft used to do earlier is, every time there is a critical bug that is identified and reported to Microsoft, Microsoft would immediately release a patch, right? It would immediately release a patch because they immediately want to fix the bug. Am I clear? Can you all please comment on the section below? If you understood, please type in yes. If you all agree to it, please do type in yes. Wonderful. Thank you, Deepan. Thank you, Praveen. So, I mean, for the people who are attending, let me tell you, please do attend the whole session. We have another 1 hour. And let me tell you, the last half an hour, I will be showing you some really cool demos right? Where you can actually relate to what you do on a day-to-day basis and how vulnerable we are, right? Well, let's talk about that as well. Now, talking about patches, Microsoft releases patches every month, uh, any point in time. They don't have a process to do that earlier, because when a when a critical bug is identified, Microsoft immediately wants to fix it for the benefit of the end user. But eventually, what happened is there are a lot of enterprise organizations that are using Microsoft products, right? So it is becoming practically impossible and really hard to continuously keep patching, right, for active vulnerabilities. But that was not something they were comfortable. They wanted a process from Microsoft, right, to do the patching. So eventually, what happened is Microsoft ended up doing something called the Microsoft Patch Tuesday, right? So what happens is every month, second Tuesday, Microsoft releases patches, right? So Microsoft has eventually made it a point every month, second Tuesday, we will release patches. So you plan the installation process accordingly. You can plan the deployment process accordingly, right? So enterprises were now updated about the idea. Every month, Microsoft releases patches once, right? So there is 12 times in a year that they'll release patches, is the understanding. Now, organizations immediately work on installing patches on immediately when the patches are released. But as much as Microsoft calls it a patch Tuesday, there is a whole wide world outside of Microsoft which uses Microsoft products, right? They call it the exploit Wednesday, right? What is an exploit Wednesday? Exploit Wednesday simply means, say there is a patch released on Tuesday, right? What are the chances that every single system across the internet has got that patch installed by that Tuesday? I'm 100% sure there are systems that are going to be switched off. There are 100% chances that there are systems that are not installed with the latest patches, right? So what attackers do is they call it the exploit Wednesday, because that is the day when they think they can harvest the most. Number one, when I say harvest, hack the end users the most, right? Number one. Number two is, uh, if you notice, most organization, technologically driven organization, they do not give leaves for teams who are into security and who are into patch management on Wednesdays, of the second Wednesdays of every month. The reason is just this, right? Okay, so Microsoft patches. So we understand what is a patch, what is the update, and we also understood about Microsoft's Patch Tuesday and what attackers call it the exploit Wednesday. Right? Microsoft confirms server misconfiguration leads to 65,000 plus companies data leak. Wow. This is not something new, and we are not talking something new, and this is not happening for the first time. Please look at this. This is October 21, 2022. We are in 2024, August, right? Almost 2 years later. But still, if you notice, the trend continues, right? I'm not complaining Microsoft or its product. In fact, I am a huge fan of Microsoft and I love Microsoft products, and I've been using Microsoft products for so long, right? But I would love to call myself a power user of Microsoft product. The reason is I know what to tweak, what to configure, what to do to make sure the Microsoft or related products or the complete ecosystem can be hardened, can be a little more secure, right? It is like this: you buy a mobile phone, unless you put a pattern lock or unless you put a pin code, pin password, or you put a fingerprint, right? There are high chances, if you don't have any lock in the mobile phone, there are high chances it can be compromised. Someone can gain access to your phone. Okay, now once again, this is 2022. Look at this. Researchers discover 3 vulnerabilities on Microsoft Azure API management service. Wow. So there's a very popular saying. They say What is a cloud? Cloud simply means uh, your data, but not your computer, right? It simply means you're storing your data in someone else's computer somewhere. That's simply the simplest form of defining the word cloud, right? Cloud computing. But look at this. There are three vulnerabilities in Microsoft Azure API, right? And it is one of the most popular cloud platform across. And every single enterprise organization use Microsoft Azure. In case they're using O365 or anything, it is almost default that they use Microsoft Azure as a their platform, either as a uh, infrastructure as a service or in fact a platform as a service and so on, right? Okay. So I see some people posting in questions. So let me tell you, in case you have questions, please do comment in the section below. I'd be happy to take any specific questions too, right? Okay. Microsoft warns of Kremlin-backed APT28 exploiting critical Outlook vulnerability. Okay, what is APT? APT stands for Advanced Persistent Threat, right? So what happens is APT28 is a group, right? And this group has multiple techniques of exploiting the end user. This one specifically using Microsoft Outlook vulnerability, right? Okay, now Microsoft on Monday said it detected Kremlin-backed nation-state activity exploiting now patched critical security flaw in its Outlook email system, right? Okay, so this happened again in October 2023, right? So this happened in 2023. Okay, let me go to the next one. Microsoft's top executives' emails breached in a sophisticated Russia linked APT attack. APT as in, again, advanced persistent threat, and it's usually not a single attack like SQL injection or cross site scripting or a parameter manipulation, session hijack, nothing like that. It is a hybrid attack. Usually, it is a hybrid attack. One attack with combination of another attack, making it a more complex to detect attack, right? Okay, this is Microsoft's top executives emails breached in a sophisticated attack. All right, in 2024, we are just touching the current year, right? We are touching the current 2024, and let's see what all has happened in 2024 pertaining to Microsoft itself, right? Microsoft confirms Microsoft confirms Russian hackers stole source code. Wow. Some customer secrets also. Secrets as in passwords or secret encrypted data, right? Microsoft on Friday revealed that Kremlin-backed threat actor known as Midnight Blizzard, APT29 or Fuzzy Bear managed to gain access to some of the source code repositories and internal system following the hack that came to light. Look at this, how interesting it is to know case studies of popular organizations like Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet is in Google, all of these companies getting compromised almost every single day, right? There's a popular saying, they say there are only two types of organizations in the whole world, just two. The ones who know they're hacked, and two, those who do not still know they're hacked. It simply means both are compromised. Some know and some don't know. That's it, right? So if you ask me which is better, I would always say it is better to know that you're hacked instead of just assuming you're not compromised. The reason is, number one, if you know that you're compromised, if you know that you're hacked, you can at least do something to prevent it or make it hard or harden the whole thing, right? But if you don't even know that you're hacked, ignorance is a bliss. You can just be happy with whatever you know, right? Okay, so let me further go down. Okay, US Cyber Safety Board slams Microsoft over breach by China based hackers. Wow. Please look at this. This is April 2024. This is April 2024. and says the US Cyber Safety Review Board, which is CSRB, has criticized Microsoft for a series of security lapses that led to the breach of nearly 2 dozen companies across Europe and US. And this is by a China based nation state group called Storm 0558. See, this is continuously happening. So some attacks or something keeps on happening, just that we know some, we don't know many, right? Okay, my question to you is, okay, this may be a little controversial subject, but think of this. You are living in a state, okay, and in that state, say there is a political party which is the ruling political party, right? And say the ruling political party has a major TV channel where they have a news channel, okay? In case there is something wrong about the political party and so the end users have some disconcern about that political party, or sorry, some concerns about the political party, do you think that that news channel will be covering that and broadcasting it? No, right? Similarly, what happens is Microsoft, Google, and these kind of products, they do not propagate news which talk about them getting compromised. They don't want to propagate that information. They don't want the end users to know that they get compromised. It's like a bank. Say you are a manager of a bank, okay? Say an attacker managed to hack into your bank and steal 1 crore. Do you think the managers or the senior level team in the bank would make this information public? Absolutely not, because it will break the trust of end users who have ever deposited so much in that particular bank on the goodwill name and the brand recognition, right? But what will happen, it'll all get spoiled and it'll make the business of the bank go rapidly down, right? Likewise, these companies do not want end users to in fact know much about their compromise, right? But there are some obvious attacks that happen which end users get to hear, get to know, and experience themselves, which come to the limelight, right? So let me ask you this: how many of you here uh, read about the recent threat, or not threat, recent news of India's one of the popular cryptocurrency exchanges getting compromised? Last week, a popular cryptocurrency exchange based out of India, based out of Mumbai specifically, headquartered in Mumbai, getting compromised. And how many of you are aware about this? Yes, Mr. Praveen is right. Yes, Satish. So it's a little scary. Yeah. Is it good to use Microsoft pirated OS? So definitely not. We'll talk about that. Yes. So please post in your questions. I'd be happy to take all the questions at once. Um, like what Praveen says, last week this attack happened on a popular cryptocurrency exchange in India called the Wazirex. Right? Let me tell you, they lost a staggering $235 million. 235, $1 million is close to 8.8 crores and odd, right? Imagine this. It is a huge money, right? It's close to around 2000 crores of money, right? And think of this, this money that they hold is not their money, it is the end user's money, right? And the worst part here is, since it's a cryptocurrency and this is a hack not happened on just one individual but on the exchange itself, the whole exchange, or at least 40% of the exchange reserves, got hacked, right? And this money got dispersed. When I say dispersed, they used an attack called the salami fraud attack, right? In salami fraud attack, what they do, salami fraud is a very popular attack, especially used in money laundering teams across the world, or the fraud teams across the world. What they do is, I give you 1 lakh, for example, right? You give 1 lakh as 1 rupee to 1 lakh people, and these 1 lakh people will again send the money 1 rupee to another account. So it has actually moved from one person to the other person, right? All the monies come back to that particular end user, but there's so many transactions that has happened in between, right, through different sources. So what happens is it becomes really hard to understand who has done what, right? And furthermore, making it complicated, especially in this WazirX hack, there are multiple coins, not just Bitcoin, right? You Ethereum, Shibu, Pepe, and so on. Like close to around 50 different cryptocurrencies were compromised, right? Even though they had multi-signature wallet where they had to have three of the internal team members sign it to get the funds approved, and one external agency called Emiel, right? They had to approve it. Even the attackers managed to hack both the levels and get the transaction processed. $235 million getting processed. Imagine that. It's like a proper script of a Hollywood bank heist movie, isn't it? Okay, so this is again about Microsoft, right? Let's go further. Hackers increasingly abuse Microsoft Graph API for stealthily malware communication. Okay, say for example, how many of you are aware of this term called command and control servers, or how many of you are aware of the term called the botnet attacks? If you know, if you heard of botnet, please type yes on the chat box, please. Badri, no. All right, that's fine. Please drop in your message on the chat box. I'd be happy to address them. No issues, Naresh. No problem. I will. Okay. There are quite a lot of people. Interesting. Okay. So let me briefly tell you what uh, botnet is, right? Say, for example, earlier days, you know, few maybe one decade ago, there were prominent attacks called the backdoor attacks or the Trojan attacks, Trojan horse, they call it, right? What is a Trojan horse? Say you have a computer, right? And I managed to install a software that I have created on your computer, right? So your computer is vulnerable to some kind of an attack or some kind of a communication. So what happens is, I as an attacker have installed a server on your system by sending you some file or making you click a link or some process. I have made a application, and that application is now sitting on your computer. Now, will your computer obey your terms or my terms? It will obviously obey my terms because your computer has my software running on that, right? Now, what I say is, I have instructed that piece of software sitting on your computer saying, hey, if I ask you to do this, right? So, what I'll do is, I will ask that computer to brute force yahoo.com or brute force hotmail.com or brute force gmail.com, right? So, what happens is, I can instruct a different computer to initiate an attack, right? But it's a one on one communication. But think of this on a large scale, right? Attackers, what they do is they try to recruit many end users, right? When I'm saying many, I'm talking about millions, right? Think of this. There are 1 million computers, and this 1 million computers are getting compromised because there is a vulnerable software that gets installed, right? And think of this, as an attacker, is it possible that I can go to every 1 million computers and tell, go hack this, go hack this, go hack this? As an attacker, they would want to do some hacks, right? So that's not practically possible, right? So what happens next is, number one, there is something called a command and a control server. So all these compromised systems are connected to one centralized system called the command and control server, right? So as an attacker, what I have to do is, I don't need to talk to all the endpoint machines. All I have to do is just communicate with that one command and a control server. That command and control server, if I communicate, that server will be having 1 million connections connected to it. It will pass the command to those 1 million machines saying, do this activity, do this action, and so on. Am I clear? Yes or no? Yes, like what Mr. Dana says, it is they often use it for DOS attack. You're correct. Yes, as Ganesh says, it's both. Yes. Okay. Now think of this. Um, as you're all already aware, there's a popular attack called the DOS attack. DOS is denial of service. Say there is a service running in your computer, and I don't want that service to run. I'm not anywhere related to your company, but I'm your competitor. Now you are running a website that is making money for you as a e-commerce product. What I will do is I don't want you to flourish, I don't want you to grow. So what I'll do is I will initiate a DOS attack on your particular service, on your particular port, right? It will kill the particular service that is running. So in that way what happens is your service goes down, your customers go down, and your reputation also go down, and it tarnishes your brand name as well. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Sharath, yes, excellent. So what I want you to understand is, right, there's something called DDoS. D as in distributed denial of service. Say if I am just attacking your service, there are high chances you can block my IP. But will you be blocking everyone's IP across the internet? All public IPs can you block? That will not make any sense, because it will also include all the potential customers, right, who are actually coming to your site as a legitimate user. If you block them, still you don't have any business. That's also fine with an attacker. Yes or no? Right. Now, something very interesting here is this is how they implant a particular piece of vulnerability on a system, exploit that vulnerability, put a zombie or make your system a botnet, and communicate using a command and control server to do a larger attack. Am I clear? Yes or no? Okay. Now I'll go to the next one. Look at this. This is what we all came here for today, right? So it says faulty CrowdStrike update crashes Windows systems, impacting businesses worldwide. Let me ask you a quick question. How many of you were impacted with this? Please type in me if you knew about this, or if you or your organization faced something like this. Madhavan P. Okay. I see Mr. Madhavan saying he has got impacted because of this. Let us see if there are anyone else who has got impacted because of this. Mr. Naresh. Okay. Mr. Dhanalakshmi. Sorry, I'm Dhanalakshmi. All right. So what we have to understand is, right, there is a popular saying, okay, when you drive a car, do you see what is written on the mirror, the side mirror of your car? Right? There's a small text under the mirror, right? What does it say? It says objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Yes or no? What does that mean? It simply means it is showing an image to cover the whole environment there, whereby the object may be even closer than actually it appears, right? So cyber attacks are very similar to that. Cyber attacks are very similar to that. Let me tell you, the time we started this program till now, how many of you think there has been a cyber attack on us? Just that we know, we don't know. How many of you think we are also under attack? Please drop in your thoughts on this comment section below. Like what Dhanalakshmi ma'am says, I think so. Okay. Okay, let me ask you a quick question. How many of you here are using an email account for more than 10 years? Or just type in how many years. Just say 8, 7, whatever. How many years are you using your email accounts? 12. Wow. 7, 14, 15. Okay, my question is, these many years you have been using, right? Let me ask you this. How many of you have not got hacked, or you don't know that you have got hacked? That is fine. How many of you have not got hacked? It is over these many years. I have not got hacked. Mr. Maitreya. Okay. Maitreya has been using your email ID for 7 years. Govind has not got hacked. Professor G. Narsimalu has not got hacked. Okay. What we are going to do is, we are just going to see a small tool to understand if at all we have got hacked, right? Okay. So for which I'm just going to pull. Can you please share in your email address on the chat box, please? Maitreya, do you mind sharing your email ID on the chat box? Okay. So what I'm doing is copying Maitreya.vila at ESDS. Okay. Maybe, I don't know, if we'll just give it a try. So there is a popular website called haveibeenpawned.com. Right? So please do share in your email addresses apart from Maitreya. Okay. For the benefit of all, right? I would suggest, please don't share your official ID here. You can just share your personal ID. That is fine, right? So let us look at Mr. Maitreya's account. Oh God, look at this. I just searched Maitreya's email ID. It says pawned in one data breach, right? It already says pawned in one data breach. And let us understand what breaches were you pawned. So he was compromised because he used a service called Nitro PDF service, which suffered a massive data breach which exposed over 70 million unique email addresses. Wow. The breach also exposed names, bcrypt password hashes, and title of the converted document. This, the data provided to have I been pawned by dhash.com, right? Okay. So the interesting thing is, this email ID has got hacked. See, now we have been living. So, question to Maitreya: do you know that you got compromised because you had an account with the Nitro PDF? Were you aware that you were compromised because you were using this service? No, right? So that's exactly what I'm saying. So we don't know, most of the times we don't know that we have got compromised, right? And these are all simple examples to prove that we have got compromised, just that we don't know that we have got compromised, right? Okay, we'll just quickly check. Mr. Deepan, Deepan. I don't know if it is Mr. Deepan Chanda. If it is Deepan Chanda, it is my ex-manager. Okay, Mr. Deepan found in 3 data breaches. God, look at this. This is interesting. He's got compromised because he is a user of Domino's India, right? And if you notice, in April 2021, close to 13 TB of compromised Domino's India's data appeared on sale on a hacking forum. Okay, which the company acknowledges a major data breach. They date back to March. The compromised data includes 22.5 million unique email addresses and phone numbers. Okay, look at this. Dub Smash. Okay, he is also a Dub Smash user, and the worst part is you got your email address, location, names, passwords, usernames got compromised. Deepine, right? So let's try someone else. And you also are a Zoom car user, and your account has got compromised because Zoom car got compromised. It is not your fault, right? So what I'm going to do is replace this. Look at this. This is 12 data breaches. First, we saw Maitreya one data breach, right? And then we saw Deepan three data breaches. Now we are seeing Sunil 12 data breaches. Oh my God, this is scary now. I'm telling you 100% your password is already with the attackers, right? Okay. Nitro, PDF, Zoom car, Adobe, Big Basket, Canva, Kovi, and other sources. LinkedIn, MGM Resorts, My Fitness Pal, Twitter. God. Okay. Question. Sunil, are you aware that you've got compromised in multiple places like this? Wow. At least we are aware, right? So good that we are aware. In case we are aware, we know what to do next, right? Okay. I'll proceed with this, right? So what actually happened here, right? So as we are all already aware, CrowdStrike, a popular EDR and XDR company, right, which is more for antivirus organization, right? They prevent viruses, ransomwares, malwares, and so on. They're one of the world's top company. So having said they are an antivirus company, usually antiviruses has to run on a endpoint, right? And these endpoints has to give the antivirus a elevated privilege to run, right? Which means it has to run on a root privilege or admin privilege or a service account privilege to run, right? What actually happens there? Once it runs on that elevated privilege, it simply means that it can run certain commands, it can run certain queries, and it can also have access to the kernel. Kernel is the heart of any operating system, right? If you mess up with your heart, you're done, right? As good as that. So if you touch the kernel and if you do not know how to handle the kernel properly, you should be ready for a crash. That is exactly what happened here, right? It was not a planned attack. This one is not a attack by any popular APT groups or evil hacking groups, but it is a very simple faulty mistake by this organization called CrowdStrike of their product called the Falcon, right? They have a product called Falcon, and they install the Falcon agent or the sensors on multiple systems to monitor them, right? So issue happened because that agent, right, uh, did a small mistake, right? It was a small mistake. It was not intentional. It was an unintentional mistake, but it caused a huge havoc, right? As you're all already aware, how many of us are aware that it made almost every business in the airline industry down? How many of you are aware that almost every single airline suffered issues because of this? How many of us are aware? Please type in on the chat box. Yes, Pravin, yes, Sunil, yes. Wonderful. How many of you are aware it had a critical impact on stock brokering and trading firms? Yes. How many of you are aware that it had a huge impact on uh, critical healthcare industries? Right? I told you, objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Attacks are more closer than they actually appear, especially because it's a virtual attack. It's all virtual, right? Okay. So what happened here? CrowdStrike, they made some changes in the etc folder, CrowdStrike folder in your system drive, and it had a .sys file, right? So this file caused all the issue, right? So it created a buffer overflow condition where the system drank up all the memory that is required, went on loop and crashed the system's kernel. And Windows 10 and Windows 11 are specifically designed not to hit any blue screen of death issue. But welcome back to the blue screen of death issue on Microsoft once again, right? It pulled up that blue screen of issue once again, right? This is the screen that we all were able to see when the Microsoft operating system crashed, right? So look at this. Is it a issue of Microsoft or the Microsoft operating system? Is it a issue with Microsoft ecosystem or say Windows operating system? No, you're right, Maitya. It's no. It is a third-party tool called CrowdStrike, which is installed over Microsoft, for which they have given elevated privileges. They, as in we, while installing CrowdStrike. So, does this issue not happen to any organizations who do not use CrowdStrike? Yes. People who did not have CrowdStrike did not face any of this issue, right? Any other products, any other antivirus or EDR, XDR products they used, no other companies were impacted. The companies which used CrowdStrike had issue, right? Uh, Mr. Professor, can you please repeat? Sir, please, do you please mind letting me know what you want me to repeat? I'll repeat. Prashant Bhusan, we had a same issue, blue screen issue of death last year also. Prashant, let me tell you, blue screen of death issue is not common. I mean, it's not unusual these days. It's almost common because there are usually three popular types of attack which bring back this issue. One is heap, stack, and buffer. Heap, stack, and buffer. If you do not, these are the three areas where you have to have memory managed properly, right? You should have exceptions written. If you don't have exceptions written for buffer, heap, and stack, there are high chances it will crash your system and let arbitrary commands be executed on your systems from remote, right? That will cause uh, blue screen of death, because it can also cause uh, it can make any service a process hungry service and make the whole system consume all the memory, right? Okay, so we will proceed. So this is not an issue of Microsoft. It is an issue because we all used a product called CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike had this issue when they're installing a new upgrade or a patch onto their definition files on their CrowdStrike. This happened, right? It is almost like this. You have an antivirus software from last month till today. How does an antivirus detect a virus which is as new as yesterday? Right? Say a virus got released yesterday in the market. How is your antivirus able to detect? Your antivirus is able to detect because there is a certain signature that is getting downloaded from a remote, right? Likewise, CrowdStrike also has to download some kind of a signature and update, right? But what happened is it is a faulty update that they downloaded, that it was not properly tested, that caused all the issue, right? Okay, going next. uh, Slide not visible. Yes sir, I will keep it slow and I'll repeat this. Okay, we all know about this one. Faulty Microsoft update led a huge catastrophic IT outage, especially organization using Microsoft and Microsoft ecosystem. It also killed Microsoft Teams, Azure, SharePoint. You name any Microsoft related service, it was impacted because that particular server which is using that particular service also had CrowdStrike, right, which led a huge catastrophic impact. And we are already living in 2024. Now only we are starting to realize there's so much that can happen with just a small update, small one single update. Prashant Bhusan, is it a patch update problem from CrowdStrike? Yes, you are correct. That's why I've said not. It's a popular news article. It says faulty CrowdStrike update, right? It is a faulty update from CrowdStrike, which did not go through a thorough Q&A testing, QA testing, because of which it caused a mishandling of memory and causing BSOD, blue screen of death, right? Okay, I'll go to the next one. See, that happened in July 19th. Look at this news, not even 10 days from that, right? If you see, it says here on the bottom line, it says the software giant said that a distributed denial of service cyber attack resulted in an outage on July 30. The previous attack in July 19. Huge worldwide IT outage because of CrowdStrike, third party tool, right? Now it is not third party tool, it is because of a evil group or a cyber attackers group who managed to hack in uh, specifically. Okay, I see a message from Maitreya. Wow, he is already posting the screenshot of the blue screen of death. Amazing. Yes, that's exactly what happens, right? So here Microsoft confirms cyber attack behind Azure outage that also impacted Starbucks app. Forget Starbucks app, right? This is what our Times of India wrote. But let us talk on a larger picture, right? It is not just Microsoft Azure getting compromised. It was also SharePoint getting compromised. It was also Microsoft 365 getting compromised, right? So let me ask you this: how many of you use M365 as your email ecosystem? Maitreya, we have. Sunil, we have. Okay. So, okay, these are all wonderful. Siki. So, these are all things that we have to be aware. The reason is we are using, see, if you use Google ecosystem, most likely if you use a web browser to log into Gmail, or Gmail related apps, because Google lets you do a white labeling of their domain, right? So say you have abc.com, and this abc.com is mapped to a Google email ecosystem. So you log into the web browser and do it. You know that the site is down or not. Gmail site is down or not because you're logging into the browser, right? But when you're using a client utility like Outlook or Exchange or Thunderbird or some client to download the emails from remote, what happens? You do not know if the service is not working, right? If the email service goes down, you don't know because Outlook is not continuously connected. It keeps probing and downloading or synchronizing your emails with the server. So you do not really know if the remote service is down or not. Yes or no? Are you all able to follow? Can you all please drop in a message on the comment if you are all able to follow, please? Sure, Prashant, I'll be slow. Excellent. Okay, I go next. Is I mean, we saw close to 10 different cases where Microsoft and related products have been compromised. But let me ask you, is this all? Is this all? Right? No. Let me answer you no. Let us go a little more, right? Look at this. I have listed Microsoft services and breach incidents that have happened in the past, right? So, number one, corporate email system breached by Russian SVR hackers using password spraying attack. What is the password spraying? Right? Password spraying is a very popular term that is used where, see, brute forcing. Now what is brute forcing? You have a username for which you try random passwords, right? A1, A2, A3, A4, like that. You keep on trying. One time you may get a right password, right? But the chances of breaking such uh, using such techniques have dropped drastically these days, right? Because organizations like Google, Microsoft have lockout policy these days. If you try 10 wrong attempts, your account gets blocked, you can't try further account. I mean brute force, right? So brute forcing is not a option that attackers use these days. Instead, they do something called the password spraying. What is password spraying? Password spraying simply means I know what is the likely password or a default password used in a company called ABC, right? Now, with this password, I will use this password against all the usernames that are available on the company. See, it is almost opposite to brute force. In brute force, what we do, we have the username as constant, password we try various options. But here, we are having password as a constant and username as every single username from the organization. Am I clear? This is called the password spraying attack. Am I clear? Are you all aware? I mean, able to understand what is the password spraying attack? Yes? No? Wonderful. Right? Then State Department email access. Chinese hackers stole over 60,000 emails from US State Department accounts, exploiting a key of broad access. Three, Microsoft Cloud Services. That is something that we all use, Azure Cloud, right? Chinese hackers access US government agencies via a vulnerability in Microsoft Cloud Services, right? Four, Azure Blob Storage. Misconfiguration exposed personal data of more than 5 lakh users, including of names and emails. Okay, I'm just giving you a high level of what's already happening in the market, especially talking a larger case study in small. Internal systems. The Lapses Group breached Microsoft, claiming to steal source code for several products because they managed to gain access into the internal networks and the source code repositories. 5. Power apps. Misconfiguration led to exposure of personal data for over 38 million users. Imagine that, 38 million users, right? Customer support data. Misconfigured database exposed records of 215 million customer records, including personal identifiable information. Think of what has happened in the past. We are living in an era, completely digital era. We just don't realize that. And think of what can happen. It attackers can almost steal our identity online, right? Support agents credentials. Hackers access webmail accounts using compromised support agent credentials. Okay, is that all? No, there is more. Let's see. This time I'm not talking about case studies or talking about how and when Microsoft ecosystem has got compromised and so on. Instead, what I'm going to be briefly touching upon is popular attacks that attackers use, right, in and around Microsoft ecosystem, right? Number one, Kerberos roasting. Kerberos is a protocol that's used in Microsoft, right? And what happens in Kerberos roasting? An attack where hacker requests service tickets for service accounts and crack the tickets offline to retrieve passwords, right? So, see, what is a service account? How many of you are aware about service accounts? Okay, think of this. You are a user, right? And you have a username password, right? With this username password, when you log in these days, you have a 2FA, two factor or multi-factor authentication, OTP, or click this, verify yourself and all that. But for service accounts, right, service accounts are accounts that are not used by end users. It is used by a printer, scanner, router, something like that, right, where they can't do the multi-factor interaction. Am I clear? Yes or no? Right. Can you all please confirm if the video is visible? Can you all please confirm if my screen is visible? Okay, I see Mr. Narasimhalu sir says video is not clear. Okay, excellent. Golden ticket attack. See here, the previous one, an attack where hacker requests service tickets for the service accounts, right? So here, what is a golden ticket attack? In golden ticket attack, attackers create forged Kerberos ticket granting tickets. Okay, so using this technique, they create forged or they spoof ticket granting tickets to gain unauthorized access to the network resources. How cool is that, right? So it is almost becoming an admin within a network. We're talking about golden ticket, right? But there's something called silver ticket attack also, right? I'm talking a little technical, but I'm just going to quickly cover this and go on so you understand these kind of attacks do exist. Silver ticket attack is similar to golden ticket attack, but attacker forges service tickets. Okay, it's the like the Kerberos roasting to access specific services without needing the ticket granting tickets. Am I clear? Yes or no? Okay, I will try to show some demos post this. NTLM attack. NTLM stands for New Technology Land Manager, right? This is a method in which the password is converted to a hash, and it's a Microsoft proprietary hashing algorithm. So exploiting the NTLM authentication protocol, often through relay attacks or credential thefts. See, for example, I want to log into your system. I need a username and a password, but the password should be stored in your system so that when I type the password, it can be cross checked with your system. But what I'm saying is, these days, because the password, if it is in clear text on your system, some attacker can hack it, right, and then gain access. So what they do is they encrypt and hash the password. They hash your password and which is stored there. Now there is an attack called pass the hash attack, right? You don't need to type in the password. You take the hash and just pass it, right? So you get authenticated. It's called the pass the hash attack. Am I clear? Yes or no? I will show you what is a hash and what attackers can do. Right? Another 5 minutes, I'll also touch upon that. Right? So NTLM hash attack, I will show a demo of that as well. Credential dumping is also another popular attack where attackers use certain techniques to access hidden or hide data from your system and decrypt or decode them to the previous state to understand what is the actual password that's stored inside the hash value. Brute force attack, let's skip that. It's a more of a trial and error technique. Okay, further, we have so many more attacks. Password spraying, which I already told you about. Man in the middle attack, right? It's say I am accessing a remote system. There is an attacker in between who acts like a invisible person who tries to get the data from one side, pass it here, get the data from here, pass it there. So what does he do? What does his benefit? Because he gets the data from one side, pass it there, and gets the data from one side and pass it here, he knows what data is going and coming, right? He knows what username and passwords are going and coming, what CVV numbers are going and coming, what is the token IDs that are going and coming, what is the secret keys that are going and coming. These are all things that he will be already aware of. Am I clear? Yes or no? Excellent. So we have the replay attack. As I told you, replay attack is passing the hash detail directly so that you don't need to type in username password to authenticate yourself, right? Then we have privilege escalation attack, buffer overflow, stack overflow, heap overflow. All these are overflow attacks, right? So what is the overflow, right? Say for example, I have this uh, tumbler with me, right? It can hold 500 ml of water. What if I pour 600 ml of water? 500 ml will be there, 100 ml will be poured out, right? It will overflow. That is exactly what happens in buffer, stack, and heap overflow. If 1 MB of data can be stored in a heap or a stack or buffer, what if I put 2 MB of data? It will overflow, right? But what attackers do is they try to overflow with the data which is inside the memory. Am I clear? In that way, it can also lead to giving away passwords that are stored in the system. Am I clear? Yes or no? Balaram, is it easy to decrypt password? Sir, I'm just going to show you a demo. You'll understand if it is easy or not. We'll touch upon that in a quick while. Yeah. Okay. Now, I plan to have 4 demos, and the third demo, how safe are we? We already saw. Yes or no? We saw. Have I been pawned.com? Yes or no? Yes. I am going to touch upon phishing, domain name, and password related attack, right? But before that, let me get a confirmation from you all that okay. Okay, so first I'm going to use uh, again google.com. First time I'm going to say phishing attack, right? Okay, look at this. Okay, please pay attention. What do? I search my company name, DigiAlert. When I search DigiAlert, right, it is showing multiple links here. But please pay attention. When I move my mouse pointer on, say, this particular link, right? Please pay attention. If I keep the mouse pointer on this particular link, what happens on the bottom left? What happens on the bottom left? Do we all see? Can we do regular session regarding this? Yeah, you can talk to Bhavani ma'am on that session, sir. Can you all confirm above the start button? Are you able to see a small text which says https colon slash slash digialert.com? Yes or no? Can you all please confirm me? Yes, wonderful. So, can you all please confirm me keeping my mouse pointer on this link? What do you see right now? What do you see on the bottom left right now? It's called the status bar, right? Excellent. See, I keep the mouse pointer here. You can see https colon slash slash justdial.com, right? So any okay, here it says https colon slash slash www.glassdoor.co.in. Okay, my question is, do you all understand if I search something, and before I click on that link, I keep my mouse pointer there. Do you see on the status bar, it shows where the link is going to take me to? Yes or no? Can you all please confirm that? Yes or no? Wonderful. Excellent. Now, what I'm going to do is, please pay attention. I am going to go to this particular link, right? And in this link, please pay attention. Okay. When I keep the mouse pointer here on the working demo link, right? Do you see this text here? Okay, I'll make it a little bigger. Do you see this link? Yes or no? When I keep my mouse pointer on this link, what do you see on the bottom left? Can you please confirm what do you see on the bottom left? how many of you see https://www.bankofamerica.com? Yes or no? Yes. Wonderful. So please pay attention. Yeah, above the start button, you see a small text which says https://, which means that when I go click on this link, it's going to take me to this URL. Yes or no? But let's see what happens here. When I click on this link, what happens here? What happens here? What happens? How many of you see Bank of India's website loaded? Redirected the link to Bank of America, right? And you also see the green lock icon, bankofamerica.com, everything. Yes or no? Okay. Now, please be ready, right? It is mind blowing to understand we are not in Bank of America's website. We are in a page that is designed to show it is looking like Bank of America. It's not Bank of America, right? And the worst part here is the attacker managed to put an image that is looking like part of the browser. It's not an image, I mean, browser. It is looking like a portion of the browser that's visible. It, it shows that portion and it says https www.bankofamerica.com, and what you see there is also not text. It is a image, right? How do we detect this? Any idea? Can someone tell me how do we detect this? SSL also. Few time I experienced too. Yes. So what I want you to understand here is, right? See, when I take my mouse pointer all the way to the center of the page like this, please notice what happens here. Do you see a small X icon that comes? Yes or no? Nice. It is almost the same thing. Okay. I go to youtube.com. Here I go to Vinod Senthil. Okay. Please pay attention. Say I watch this particular video. Hey defenders, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Okay. Say I'm watching this video and I take my mouse pointer all the way to the center of this page. Let us see what happens. Do you see the same X icon? Yes or no? Yes. What do you derive out of this? What is your understanding? Having the same icon coming, what does it mean? It means that right now this YouTube video has become full screen, right? It is almost like this. In Google Maps, if you see, there is a small icon. If you click on that icon, it makes the map full screen, right? Like that, this particular YouTube, this button, if you click, it becomes full screen. Yes or no? Am I clear? Likewise, right? Likewise, you can make a image full screen. You can make a link full screen. You can make, when you click on it, you can make anything full screen. So what an attacker has done is, you keep the mouse pointer on a link. On using JavaScript, he coded it to say https Bank of America. When you click on it, right, it opens up a HTML page that looks like the actual site but not. where attacker could embed the username password form where you enter username password submit. It can be stolen by an attacker. Your username and password could be stolen, and this is a advanced level of phishing attack that has become famous today. Are you all clear? Yes or no? Wonderful, right? And for your information, please note I have a YouTube channel, and the last video that I have posted is yesterday. It has okay, I'll just tell you what I'm doing as a uh, passionate cybersecurity person. I committed to myself saying every single day of 2024, starting from January 1st, I am going to post one cybersecurity related video which is informative, educational, or to learn something about cybersecurity for end users completely for free for the whole 2024 year, right? So by far, I have been able to successfully post 199 videos, having said one video a day, right? Uh, Today, being a special day, marks my 200th video. What the session we are doing right now is also getting streamed on YouTube, right? And the interesting part is I continuously post videos, and if you are someone who is interested about cybersecurity, or if you are someone who wants me to do anything on cybersecurity related, once please do subscribe to my channel and also comment on the videos asking for what you want me to cover. I'd be happy to take them as well, right? Okay. Yes, sir. It is Vinod Senthil. You're right. So, coming back. So, are we all clear about this attack? Yes or no? It's called the HTML5 full screen API, because you click on that button, it becomes full screen. Am I clear? Yes or no? Wonderful. Okay, I think it's almost 12:30 right now. We may not have time for a next demo. I thought we'll have some time for password breaking or cracking, but before can we do part two? Thank you, Govind sir. Thank you for asking that. It really means that you are interested, and I hope rest of the participant attending here also and are interested in this. So, in case you are interested in part two of this, we can definitely connect with Bhavani ma'am and see if Siki would be interested to conduct another such webinar. So, let us hear from Bhavani ma'am as well. But before closing, do you have any questions from whatever I covered for the day? Yeah, in case any of you have any questions, please drop in your comments on the section. Interested and excellent information we got. Hey, thank you, Maitreya. Really means a lot. Govind, how can we defend ourselves from hackers? Okay, that's a very small question, but its answer is a very huge and large answer. So maybe I'll take it as a part two for the session. But yeah, in case you want more content, you can always go subscribe my channel. I already have 200 plus videos completely around cybersecurity. It may be of interest to you all. Good. Can we see save email ID from attacks? Yes, you can save email IDs from attack. And what we can do is there are multiple steps that as an end user we can take. So we will definitely cover that as another session itself, right? All right, so it's 12:30. So we have come to the fag end of the program. So thank you very much for Siki for conducting this program. It really means a lot. Thank you, Bhavani ma'am, as always. She's been such a wonderful person who's been coordinating, helping me organize this. Without the support from Siki and especially Bhavani ma'am and team, this may not have been possible. And for people who are interested with information like this, we would be happy to host another session also. And you can go to my channel and subscribe for more information as well. And in case you have questions, or in case you have any requirements around securing yourself, always feel free to reach out to me. And my email address is available here, Vinod at digialert.com, right? So please do drop in your mails to me. I'd be happy to respond back to each mails as well. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll pass
Thank
on
you, sir.
to
Yeah.
Bhavani ma'am. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
sir.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your support, sir. Wonderful session. I could see a lot of messages in the chat box. Sir, I will discuss with you offline, sir. We can do a second session maybe this month end based on your availability. Maybe if needed, we can do at least per session per month. We can discuss with the committee and we can just go ahead and do it, sir.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you
As
once
much
again,
as
sir. Thank you for a
yeah,
wonderful session.
sure, ma'am.
Dear participants, thank you for your time. Surely we will do another session, maybe this month end or next month. Every month we can do a session based on this. Uh, I will discuss with Mr. Vinod Senthil and update you. Thank you. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day.
Great. Thank you. Take care. Good day. Bye bye.